Oh, Stanford's cooked.
All
Yeah,
right,
they
we are
lost.
live. First show of the year. Little just early season, just early season talk. Contender, pretender, what we're gonna like to bet on, look at, fade, all that good stuff to start the season. So, um, yeah, I mean, tough. If you want to kick it off, I know you've got some stuff, Nick. You do too, right off the bat.
We'll start at number 364 and then go all the way to number 1. How does that sound? No, but let's welcome Mercyhurst, D2 school, now into the D1 spectrum. Mercyhurst, number 362 on Bart Torvik. They are joining the Northeast Conference, and then now we got IUPUI becoming IU Indy. A lot going on. I'm really excited to be back with you guys. Definitely got some contenders, pretenders, and whatnot, and some betting strategies early in the year. But just want to first and foremost say, just happy to be back with you guys and endure this cold winter to warm us up with some college basketball. So can't believe it's already here.
Yeah, I know. Crept up on us quick.
How we all
Detroit moving up 13 spots in KenPom. Talk about improvement.
Oh, gee. I mean, it's hard to be worse than they were, right?
Can only go up from last year.
I'm seeing if Detroit and Mercyhurst play. Detroit Mercy does not play the Mercyhurst, but we need Detroit Mercy versus Mercyhurst. That'll be an electric game of no mercy. But no, I'm maybe just like I'll pass one and then I'll hit one and then we'll pass it over. How does that sound?
That works.
Yeah.
I already talked about them on the Outlier Insights show with Adam. Make sure to check them out as well. It's going to be my media preseason darlings, the Indiana Hoosiers. I have to touch on them. I'm wearing their quarter zip. I've had it laid out like a kid, ready for this since nighttime. I laid my quarter zip out like I'm wearing this on the pod and planned my pod because last year on this podcast I said they would be good out of spite. I put them at 25th when we did the top 25 ranking show. But with Renew coming back, transfers like Miles Rice, Ballo, you got Carlisle from Stanford, and then freshman Bryson Tucker, and hopefully Gabe Cupps hit the gym a little bit because he's got to step up. And we saw Mackenzie Mbako really struggle earlier in the year last year, but picked it up late in the Big Ten, and they kind of turned it on towards the end of the year. But they were a gross team to watch, so they needed to add some shooters. They needed to add some offense, and that's what Mike Woodson did. He played the NBA free agency off-season mode for the NBA 2K dynasty and did it in the NCAA because now you can. So we're going to see a team that hopefully they've played enough to see them gel. I haven't seen any secret scrimmages on them yet or anything. I know they were overseas practicing. But it may take time to see them gel. They got some tune-up games with SIU, Edwardsville, and EIU opening, but then they play a tough defensive team of South Carolina at Assembly Hall, of course. But their schedule's not easy. The Big Ten's a bloodbath. Hopefully this team doesn't just shit the bed like they normally do and ruin my hopes. I promise I'm not a biased Hoosier fan. I have not been always high on them, but I'm very high on them this year. And matter of fact, I even placed a future and doubled down my fandom for a Final Four visit and a national championship. Call me crazy, I know. It probably won't happen, but that's how confident I am in them. So that was my first future of the year. Go Hoosiers. They're the Hulk Hogan of college basketball. They can come back. They still get cheered. People hate them. People hate Hulk Hogan. People love Hulk Hogan. They're the Hulk Hogan of coming back to WWE of the NCAA. That's the best comparison you'll ever hear.
IU didn't really lose too much either. Who was it? Xavier Johnson, big deal. Who really cares? Khalil Ware is going to suck to lose because he could have big games too. So that does kind of suck. But getting Ballo is a nice backup plan there. But
the circle of life, Malik Renew. The circle of life though kicks in, and Malik Renew steps up and maybe doubles down on what Khalil Ware did. I even like Renew better. He plays with that intensity that I think Ware lacks. Ware just had that nice natural athletic ability and could shoot the ball a little better. So we'll see. We'll see, man. I have them winning the Big Ten too, as well.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I'm unfortunately kind of high on IU too. So I'm with you. I might have to look at some prices on them this year, but like if they can't do anything with this roster that they were that Woodson was gifted, he's shit can next year for sure. I mean, they went through that shit to get this roster, and now it's time for him to show up and actually do something. So we'll see. I mean, it's not like they lost, other than Khalil Ware, they didn't lose much of anything really, and gain some guys. So a good spot to be a Hoosiers fan.
Yeah, definitely. I'll go next. I also touched on Adam's show on with Outlier, but I'm pretty high on Iowa State. I think everyone pretty much is in the kind of the same boat. You know, another Big 12 school. Obviously, Big 12 is like the strongest conference, top to bottom, almost every year. But they're coming in high. They kept a lot of their production with Lipsy, Gilbert, Momkilovich, and Curtis Jones, and obviously bringing in some good pieces. They also have a 7'1" redshirt freshman that's coming in, so be nice to see what he can do if he can produce for them. But they got 4 or 5 guys that have averaged over 30 minutes a game last year, 7 guys that averaged double-digit points last year. So this team is going to be deep. They're going to come out firing. Obviously, Iowa State, you know, they have a strong defense. They can put up threes. They can score a bunch of points themselves. But really, what I really like about this team is the bench. They're going to have a lot of depth. Give their starters a good amount of rest, and still not be worried about choking a 20-point lead when you take them out and put the bench players in. So yeah, I think Iowa State's going to be pretty good this year.
Yeah, I mean Otzelberger too. He's always a good coach. He gets the most out of those guys too. So, short little fiery guy. They always kind of seem to show up and play tough too. So, it should be a fun year for the Big 12 in general. I mean, it's
always
that's every year, but it's looking extra nice this year. My team that I was kind of high on. I mean, I guess I did talk about it on Adam's show too, but Arkansas here. I know they lost everybody. Tremont Mark gone, Khalif Battle gone, Devontae Davis gone. L. Ellis, he was whatever, but he was still there. He's gone too. But I mean, they got some big dudes. I mean, DJ Wagner follows Calipari. Big Z followed Calipari here. They kept Brazil. You got John L. Davis, who's got plenty of experience. Jonas Adu from Tennessee also. I mean, they got some dudes. If they can gel and actually figure it out, they should be solid. I mean, John L. Davis, everyone knows I'm a fan of his. Defense wasn't quite his specialty, so we'll see how he improves. Going from I forget what conference they were in prior to last year, but going to the AAC and now up to the SEC in 2 years. I mean, it's going to be a challenge for him. I think he may struggle a little bit earlier, but they'll be fine. I mean, he's not going to have to fight with Elijah for the ball. So, I mean, and the fact that Cal got some guys to follow him, he's in a new spot. They're excited to have him. I think he's going to be rejuvenated. It may take a little bit for them to gel, but I think come conference play by the latest, they're going to be cooking. So, I like Arkansas this year. I don't think they're going to win the SEC necessarily, but I don't think they're going to be a bottom half, middle of the pack team. I think they'll be top 5 or 6 in that conference. So we'll see how it goes. With Calipari coming, it's all hands on deck. They're going to be the NIL is going to be shipping out money left and right in the coming years to bring this program to a kind of a powerhouse, and getting these transfers. Adu, Z's back, keeping Brazil, getting DJ Wagner a solid guard. So they got plenty of solid guys. It's just a matter of how are they going to mesh, and if and how long will it take for them to actually get going together.
Yeah. No, I think with Calipari, just kind of that dynasty operator, like he's playing a video game. But another coach that I think is similar, and they're the number 1 team, but I think with reason, it's Houston. Houston's going to return. They're returning about 70% of their minutes back on their team. I know that they lose Jamal Shed, and he was one of my favorite players to watch live, but they still got LJ Cryer, Emmanuel Sharp, Juwan Roberts. Tons of guys that are just going to play that gross game of 73 to 55 and just drag you out. Maybe it's 23 to 18 with 2 minutes to go in the first half. and then they turn it on, and then they're up 11, and then it's sayonara. They really don't have a tough schedule non-conference wise either, which may hurt them in the Big 12, like we kind of saw last year. But they had a harder schedule that prepared them more, I think, than they will this year. But at least they have the returning minutes coming back for the Big 12 and experience and play. But Auburn is the second test, or the first test, I should say, and then they got Alabama, of course, too. So both Alabama teams. But I think they should get by Rutgers. Teams are a lot higher on Rutgers. You got Butler, but Notre Dame. Other than that, then you got the cupcakes they pay before the Big 12. So this team's another 24-6, 25-5 team. That's going to be a heavy bracket favorite again. That I just don't think it's out on anyone should be out on Houston. And I mean, of course not. They're the number one team preseason ranked in most brackets.
Yeah, Houston's always going to come in with a strong AP preseason poll. Other great coach team. They're very well off defensively. It's just like when their offense is struggling, that's when you get worried for them. But like you said, they always find a way and find a rhythm and just beat down their opponents, especially with the cupcake schedule, like you said. We'll see how that prepares them for the Big 12, but I always believe in them. I think another one that I'm high on, which it pains me to say a little bit, is Arizona. They kept a lot of production. They also lost a bit. They obviously lost Boswell to Illinois, Ballo, like you mentioned, but they have Anthony Del Orso coming in from Illinois, and then Trey Townsend from Oakland is coming into this team as well. So they're getting a lot of production in those two guys, both of them. Like Del Orso played 33 minutes a game, 20 points. Trey Townsend, 36 minutes, 17 points. Of course, they lost a little bit of production, but they're getting a lot in as well. And obviously, Krivas can take Ballo's spot as a starter. We saw him last year as a freshman kind of come in when Ballo needed a rest, and he can do what Ballo does, just a little worse. So hopefully he'll grow under Tommy Lloyd. I think Lloyd gets kind of a little shit because he can't win in March, but I think people kind of forget, he's finished 5th, 11th, and 6th in his 3 years in KenPom rating. He's got them 2 seeds and a 1 seed in the tournament, and he's won 2 Pac-12 championships. This guy is a good coach. He prepares his team, gets them to where they need to be in March. They just got to get over that last hurdle. But yeah, I think Arizona's unfortunately going to have a very productive team this year. Good coach with Lloyd. So excited to see them play. And they're in the Big 12 now too. So that's just another team that we're going to get to see play this crazy conference and have these crazy games. So that's going to be awesome to see.
Yeah. I mean, last year would have loved to see Arizona Houston play at their peak.
Yeah, exactly.
Season, so that would have been awesome. But I mean, lost Pella Larson because Shaw Johnson's gone and Ballo, like you said. But you didn't talk about their big transfer, Mr. Oakland. Trey Townsend.
Yeah, no, Trey Townsend. Yeah, I said that.
I must have missed that.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. Yeah, but obviously, yeah, we all know him. We all saw him. They fucking beat Kentucky in the tournament, and obviously, we are sickos. We watched them all year. But yeah, I mean, he's coming in seasoned guy. He's a 5th-year senior, 36 minutes a game last year, 17 points per game, 38% from 3. This guy's gonna fit in with this high-scoring Arizona team.
Yep. Yeah, he could find himself as an NBA prospect too. I mean,
for sure.
If he even plays, I would say not as half as good, but if he plays like he did last year for the most part, I mean, he'll find himself getting scouted a little bit too. So I mean, they got dudes on this team, that's for damn sure. And the big guy Caleb Love's back. Everyone knows and loves. He's still doing his thing in college basketball. It seems for 7-8 years now, but here he is. So that's always fun to get Caleb Love in the mix. But another one I'm high on, I don't know if you could really call this shock or anything. UConn. I mean, yes, they lost Stephon Castle. Klingen's gone. But, I mean, these guys are, if I could bring it up here, I mean, they still got Danny Hurley. They still got all their dudes for the most part, a core group of guys. So, I mean, Tristan Newton, I'm sorry, not Stephon Castle. Tristan Newton, Cam Spencer, Stephon Castle, and Klingen are gone. So, I mean, that sucks, but you're bringing back Diarra, you're getting Aiden Mahaney in the portal. Caravan's back, which was huge. Samson Johnson is going to be, a solid player still, sitting at 6'11" here. So, and a senior, so he's got experience. All these guys know what, minus Mahaney, but all these guys know what Danny Hurley wants, what these teams are about. Um, and I don't really have too much worry that they're gonna not show up or shit the bed. Maybe start the year they're getting some inflated numbers that you could potentially fade. I got to even see what does their schedule look like. Oh, good God! Sacred Heart, New Hampshire, Lemoyne, Texas A&M Commerce, Memphis, and Maryland Eastern Shore for their first 6 games. So uh, maybe you get some crazy like 50 something, 55-point spreads if you're feeling nutty and want to get kind of fade them, but ain't no way. I mean, they're playing bottom of the barrel, and what does Danny Hurley do? He just murders teams. So, and they got Baylor and Texas and Gonzaga and Xavier all after those 6. So they really kind of need to get clicking right away and just beat the dog shit out of these teams. And I think they probably will. Will I be laying UConn minus 52.5 against New Hampshire? Absolutely not. But I mean, I would not be shocked if they won by 60. So I just think UConn's going to get it going. I mean, are we really going to fade Danny Hurley after what we've seen all this time? I mean, like Adam said, he leveraged that Lakers job, got more money, got guys to stay. Caravan's back. They just signed a big 7-foot center for next year that Hurley's already talking about using him like Klingon the previous years. So we could have another monster down there that's going to do his thing after Samson leaves too. So I mean, he's already setting up for the future. They've got guys. I have no problem thinking UConn's going to be another national title contender for a three-peat here. I mean, enough said with Danny Hurley. I mean, there's really not much you can really say against him.
The Big East, more like the Big Breeze, because I think as people are high on the Big East, I'll tell you, I'm not as high on the Big East as people are. I mean, you got your anchor teams because there's only like the one conference left with what 8 or 9 teams total or 10 teams. It's you can't fake UConn. You just can't. I don't care if they're a 22-9 team. They're not the same team that we've seen. I'd be scared of this team if they are a 5 or 6 seed in March, and people aren't as high on them, just like they were 2 years ago or 3 years ago. They got bounced, and then 2 years ago they were that same 4 seed where people were stuffed. So and out on them, and they made that run as the 4 seed. I like it, Trev.
Absolutely.
Shout out Rob in the
Rob's,
chat.
Yeah, shout out Rob. I know he's going to be fair. We already talked about this. Would I be shocked if they only win by 30, 40 points against these dog shit teams early in the season? Absolutely not. But do I want to fade UConn? Absolutely not either. It's just I'm going to be staying away from it early. I mean, I can see early on, maybe Baylor gives them a hell of a game, and they can cover there too. But once you get going later in the season, I mean, I'm not going to want any business of fading UConn personally. I think once they get it clicking, it's going to get rolling. And, this team's been there, knows what they got to do. And I don't want to fade them personally, but, early in the season, absolutely, Rob. I'm not knocking that at all. But if you want to fade them all year, be my guest, I suppose. But that's ballsy, in my opinion.
I'm with Rob. I stand with Rob. Fuck UConn.
Lemoyne plus 34.5. One team I want to touch on. I gave out Houston last time. Talk about chalk. So I'm going to dive a little deeper, not too deep. Look out for this Kansas State team with Jerome Tang cooking up with Doug McDaniel and the dreaded Coleman Hawkins, in my opinion. And guessing, this team was lackluster this year. So we're going to see – I just want to point out we're going to see a Doug McDaniel Kansas State 2.0. Maybe not the same team, but he will have the same usage, that is for sure. Jerome Tang will be feeding him, doing those in-and-out plays, those pick plays for Doug, and we're going to see a lot of pick and pop, pick and roll, just like we did 2 years ago versus that team last year. So just wanted to point that out. A team I'm high on that's kind of down in the trenches, doubling up here quick, Western Kentucky. Talk about it a lot tonight. Rob in the chat I was on Western Kentucky as well. I never fade Hilltoppers tonight. But they don't have 1, 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7. They got 8 seniors on this team. These people have been gelling together. They might have been transferring together. Look out for this team. Remember that team last year? They were putting up like hundreds of points. Their totals were insane, scoring 80 points. Hank Plona and the CUSA team is going to be that 15 seed that almost gets it done. They got it done first half. I remember it in Vegas. But look out for this team as one of my sneaky picks that I haven't given out yet.
Love that. I'm gonna go different here. I'm gonna go a team that I'm down on, and it might be a shocker. It's gonna be St. Mary's. I think they lost a shit ton of production in Mahaney and Josh Jefferson. So this team is gonna be it's gonna be bad. Like obviously when you watch St. Mary's, you don't like think of them as an offensive team that's going to just like run you out the gym. They are never like that. And obviously their defense is incredible. Like at rim, the opponents at rim field goal percentage was 6th worst in the country facing St. Mary's. So obviously their, interior defense is just stellar. And teams like really struggle scoring, but I think NIL kind of cooked St. Mary's this year. I really don't see a bunch of production on this roster. Like you have a lot of older guys, like you have a graduate starting, a redshirt senior, a couple more seniors, but like all of their production is just really, really low. So I just really don't see St. Mary's being, that type of team where they're competing with Gonzaga. They're, maybe obviously clearly the second best team in that conference, and it has a chance to beat Gonzaga to be the 1 seed. But I just don't see that happening this year with them at all.
Yeah, Mahaney's a huge loss. I mean, he did a lot for that team last year. Now he's gone.
Same with Jefferson. Yeah.
Yeah. Another one I'm kind of intrigued on Creighton. I know they lost Trey Alexander and Shireman. Shireman's a gigantic loss for that team. He did a lot, but if what the fuck's that big guy's name? I am blonde.
Kalkbrenner.
Kalkbrenner, yes. If Kalkbrenner can stay actually healthy for once for a full year instead of missing 4, 5, 6 games in conference play. Yeah, I think they could be, all right. You return Stephen Ashworth still, and you got everybody else. I mean, Pop Isaacs was here from Texas Tech too. That'll be a huge help. But yeah, I think losing Shireman's could be a pretty damn big loss for this team. I mean, he did a lot for that team. If nobody was scoring, he would just scorch earth and drop 20, 25. Rebounding everywhere. I mean, his PRA last year was free for like a month and a half straight. He was just doing everything. But I still think they're going to be solid. I mean, you got McDermott still. He's always been a great coach. They always get up. I mean, even when Kalkbrenner went down and they lost those games, they still found their way back up towards the top half of that and made a run in the Big East tournament. And so I'm intrigued by them. I don't know how I really feel entirely, but keeping Ashworth and Kalkbrenner is just like the big one. And then you get Pop Isaacs, huge help. But Shireman did a lot for that team. So I'm kind of intrigued to see how they're going to do this year.
Yeah, Pop Isaacs, what a huge addition to Creighton and McDermott's roster. So I love that. I'm just laughing at some of these records. It's a really, really even year. I'm gonna say, your top teams gonna have 7 losses, and maybe even the top 2 seeds will be a 8-loss team, 22-8 even. This is gonna be a lot of parity, but I want to point out one that's been on top of the food chain in the Big Ten, at least, I guess, in the regular season. I'm not as high on Purdue. I know I'm wearing an IU shirt. I just gave out IU earlier as a preseason darling. I'm not as high on IU unless Trey Coffin-Wren steps up and Braden Smith develops that in and out play. I don't think he doesn't have the same motor as Zach Edey did, and obviously losing a few inches as well too. But they got a 7'3" freshman. They'll do their science experiment and then just make a absolute top prospect in the NBA and in the center position or overseas, like Isaac Haas or other big men that have walked into West Lafayette. Braden Smith has to step up as well, being the leader. Fletcher Lawyer is going to get you a couple threes here and there. Camden Hyde is their athletic player that can just take over on the offense, but needs to be on the hustle on the other side of the ball. Needs to be able to hustle on the other side of the ball as well too. So I just not the same team. They're still ranked top 25 preseason. They got some cupcakes before they have to play Alabama, then Marquette, then they play Texas A&M, Auburn. NC State rematch as well too. So not an easy start. They'll get some tests before the Big Ten and beat up each other. I'm just not as high on Purdue unless somebody like Trey Coffin-Wren or Braden Smith steps up big time. And I'm not fading Matt Painter. I think he's one of the best coaches, and he easily can get these guys cooking into being a contender.
Yeah, like Rob said here, it did take Edey a couple years. He was a clumsy ass guy his first 2 years or so at Purdue. I mean, it took him time, but once he figured it out, he was obviously, we know what he was. He was dominant. I think Cam Heidi's going to have a big year too. That guy, when he stepped in, he made a lot of energy plays. He was all over the floor. He can jump, he can shoot. So assuming he makes a jump, I think him and Braden will be fine. I mean, he's not a 7'4" guy like Edey, but he's still a solid player. Trey Kaufman's got to get going. But Fletcher Lawyer, that's the big one for me. If this dude can consistently make a shot, I think they'll be fine. But how many times last year did we see him just shit the bed, not be able to make anything, and just force everything to be going through Braden and Edey? So I mean, if Fletcher was making shots last year, that team would have been a little bit more dynamic than they already were to an extent. So I think he's got to have a big year.
Thompson. I mean, he just sits in the corner and bangs threes when they need to, and he might have to step up into a bigger role that I just don't see in my mind from what I've seen in the past. But you made a good point about Heidi. He's their Mr. Hustle. Purdue's always got a Mr. Hustle player. He's their Mr. Hustle player. So yeah, who knows? They might just piss on my prediction, but yeah, I'm fading this, and I'm just riding high on my Hoosiers because 2024 is proving that this is Indiana's year.
One can hope. One can hope.
Yeah, I think IU will be good
they're
too.
6-0. They're the only bowl eligible team in the Big Ten right now. So
now we're talking football.
Yeah, but
I thought this was a basketball show.
It is a basketball show. That's why I said this is IU's year in 2024 so far. That's all I said.
You guys already have expectations. That always goes well for IU. We all know that.
Yep.
But
we have high standards. I know you don't have that at Wisconsin, but
hey, when's the last time IU was in a national championship?
I know the last time. I know it's probably 40 plus years after Wisconsin won their bullshit NAIA whatever made up national championship before any tournament was developed.
Oh, whatever. Haters gonna.
Is that a hostile?
You hate Duke and IU and Kentucky and UCLA. You can't be all the.
Tony Nuke, Rob. One more.
Stone's huge bummer to lose them. He was the catalyst of that team that they missed 2 years ago.
Yeah. Kind of transitioning into a new school a little bit. How the hell did Florida get a 7'9" center?
And I was just going to talk about
Purdue
them, actually.
I
was literally just going to talk about them.
What Purdue does. Why would he not want to? I don't know if they didn't recruit him. I have no idea. How the hell does Painter let a 7'9" freaking center go anywhere else? That's the bread and butter.
He's 7'9".
7'9". Oliver Roux.
Yeah. I saw where
French.
What I'm looking at, he's listed 7'6", but
yeah, the Chile thing has him listed as 7'9". But yeah, I was literally just going to talk about them actually. I think they're going to be pretty good. Obviously, they were 24-12 last year and got that 7 seed, and then had to play a fucking insane game against Colorado in the first round that ended 102-100. So that was a thriller. But I think this Florida team, obviously, I think Handlogden is I don't know if he's going to be able to play at all or he's just going to come in late. But he hurt his hand. And they lost Poland, Tyrese Samuel, but they retained all 4 starters and Clayton, Richard, Condon, and Haw. Or Haw's coming off the bench now, but regardless, like Clayton, and then Elijah Martin's coming in from FAU. So they have like a bunch of production, 3 guys averaging almost 30 minutes, a ton of production in terms of points. Like you mentioned, that 7'9" kid coming in. They're going to have a lot of interior presence, down low to battle for boards. I think Florida is going to be just about as good as they were last year, hopefully a little bit better. But yeah, I'm high on them. I can't wait to watch them. I hope they're as high powered offensively as they were last year.
Yeah, Hawkins and Martin and Clayton are going to be awesome in that backcourt.
Yeah,
assuming they're not going to be ball hogs or just want the ball, both of them. If they can work together, it's going to be an awesome backcourt. And then you got a 7'9" guy that if he gets enough minutes, they can just literally just throw it at the rim and he'll get it. I mean, they could do something this year, but I'm curious to see how this 7'9" guy actually moves. I mean, it's a freaking giraffe out there, so who knows how he's going to be looking.
They have not really any tests either. I mean, South Florida,
yeah, they're non
State, Florida, Florida A&M, Southern Illinois, then Wake Forest, Virginia, Arizona State, North Carolina, North Florida, Stetson. I mean,
their hardest battle, their hardest non-con is Florida State,
North Carolina.
Oh yeah, sorry, North
I'd
Carolina.
say Wake.
No, North Carolina. North Carolina for sure, but
and Wake too. Wake's a team that I almost would mention as well. Their defense has to be able to keep up with their offense. They have an easier schedule that prepares them. They play Xavier at the Cintas Center. That's never easy. A&M. So yeah, Wake's another team I'm semi high on. They're little sleeper. Watch out for them. But yeah, Florida's a great call, and the Swamp's never easy.
Yeah.
No, I was actually looking at Wake Forest earlier today too. I mean, I like what they've got going on. I mean, they're going to be a solid school. They always are. It's just like you said, defense. If they can play some defense, I mean, their offense hasn't been an issue as of late. It's just you can't be giving up 80 points a game and expecting to win. It's just play a little bit of defense here and you guys will be fine. So I think they'll be interesting to watch this year. I'm excited for it. I mean, Hildreth is back still, and they still got some guys. So I haven't fully dug into them yet entirely, but just glancing over it this year, I like it on the surface level.
Yeah. Going back to the Big Ten, I don't know if Rob or not. I think Iowa's biggest addition was Drew Thelwell. Drew Thelwell from Morehead State. He is a hooper. Do that pick and roll with Sanford. The Big Ten is going to be a 19 and 11. There's going to be 7 teams. But one team I'm not as high on is Nebraska, another media darling team with Tominaga losing them. They still have Bryce Williams and Juwan Gary, huge pieces for Nebraska. That they led that team. I know Tominaga would put up his 30 here and there, but they truly led that team for Nebraska last year. And Gary and Bryce Williams. I expect them to have a bigger role, maybe with Bryce Williams getting close to 20 points average a game and being one of the Big Ten All-Americans. And then they got Aaron Eulis from Iowa as well, but not as high. And then Connor Essigan, or however the hell you pronounce it. It's a good pickup for Nebraska. This team is 17 and 13, 17 and 12, and on the bubble, and probably an NIT team, in my opinion. Love Fred Hoiberg, but not as high.
Frank Mast is also out all year too. He's not playing until next year. So
what was up with that?
He's got some injury. Obviously, he's got some injury. I
need a Joe Rogan searcher here. I'll be the Joe Rogan searcher. Frank Mast. You guys can keep talking.
Yeah. Just had it here. I don't know where the hell it went.
Medically red-shirted for just a surgery, a knee surgery.
Okay. Knees are important when playing basketball.
Yeah, knees are very important.
Yeah, a little bit.
because mine hurt when I play basketball anymore these days as I get older. So
Yeah.
not good. Any other contenders though, or and any
I've got a team that I want to fade.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Duke.
Who's it? What?
Everybody gets your Duke hate up.
Fighting
It's back.
word.
Duke hate is so back this year, guys.
Yeah, but wait. It's one thing to hate him. There's no shot you're
Okay, maybe I was lying about that, but
yeah, I was gonna say.
Regardless, get your
Convince us
Duke
they're
hate up,
pretenders.
guys.
Convince us they're pretenders. Yes.
You literally can't. I mean, you can't. Their roster is fucking insane.
Hold on.
John
Shire is going to take a step back. I don't think he's got his fastball anymore.
It's his third year.
I hate how much. Not that I like that. I think Duke's going to be really freaking good this year. Cooper Flag, what a get for them. And that was probably the worst possible landing spot for anybody else in America outside of being a Duke fan, was him going to Duke. So we're going to get to see plenty of him on ESPN. You know, it's going to be a shit ton of Duke primetime games this year, unfortunately. So we'll have plenty of time to get our Duke hate up, get those takes off on Twitter and hate them. But unfortunately, I think they're going to be pretty damn good, which is one of the worst things I'm not looking forward to this year for the college.
You know who's on Duke's roster? Mason Gillis.
Yeah, Mason Gillis is there.
We need some perimeter. We lost McCain, so
yeah, you need
can give that to us.
Oh my God, I don't think you can fade them, but I could see them. I'll give you this on the pretender. At first, they might they have so much hype, just like we've seen with teams that have a lot of hype at first, and then they play a well-seasoned old team like Kansas and Arizona, and I could see them maybe botching those games and then just going on an absolute tear. And I love that they scheduled Illinois. Court storm if your team covers at home. Yes, it's acceptable. Sure, yes, especially if you have money on the line. But they're going to roll the ACC, man. They're going to roll the ACC, and I think they take North Carolina's lunch this year and put RJ Davis out of college for once.
Did we not see Seth Trimble drop 33 big ones on Memphis last night? I know it's an exhibition. Who gives a shit? But 33.
Oh, that was a good game. Yeah, and Memphis looked good. Memphis looked like one of those.
Don't.
I know.
Don't let them fool you, bro.
I know.
Not let them fool you.
I know the penny hate. I know the penny hate exists, but
yeah,
you know, it's different. It's different, man. They got Tyrese in there. It's different.
Rob said we need a feminine point guard who paints their nails. I think Caleb Williams has another year. Actually, he's gonna come back and play Duke basketball.
Oh, I forgot about the Caleb's. I don't know what it is about Caleb Williamsons, but
he's
coming. On point.
Listen, I'm down for the Duke hate. I know everyone hates him, but I don't think we can fade him. I don't think you guys can fade him. But like Huff said, Huff has a good point. Like their non-con is fucking hard, and it as it should be. Like you want these fucking cool ass games because they're going to be playing in those early season tournaments. But I mean, I never fully expect this team as good as they are now, as good as they have been. Like I'm never they're never going to drop a game. They're going to go 30-0, 32-0, whatever it is. Like they're going to lose these games. Like going against Kansas, Arizona, like they for sure can fumble the bag and lose these games. But like in terms of winning the ACC and beating up everyone in the ACC, like that's what I expect. Bro thinks he's on the team. Fucking me. Fuck you, Rob.
Drake's canceled. What was your other pretender? I guess you were pretending on your pretender about Duke, but what was your other pretender?
So I had St. Mary's, and then my other one is Miami. We touched on it with Adam. I think losing their big guy in Omier, another guard in Poplar and George, and then Bensley Joseph. Like they retained Nigel Pack and Matthew Cleveland, who they got from Florida State the year prior. But they have a freshman starting in at their 2. Pack's obviously staying at the point guard. But like I just don't see a ton of production with this team. Like Nigel obviously is very good. Cleveland is good down low. They bring in Brandon Johnson from East Carolina, who's going to be big down low, and a 6'10" forward Lynn Kidd from Virginia Tech. So they're going to have size now, which they have always lacked the past 2 or 3 years. It's always been about their guards just ripping threes and, running down the court and scoring a bunch of points. So I like that they added some interior size, but now it feels like they don't have a lot of great guard play as we've seen the last couple of years. That's brought them, deep into March. So I don't really know how to feel about that. I guess obviously, we'll find out very quickly, but I'm a big fan of guard play and, creating open shots and scoring threes. So this team doesn't appear like that on paper. So I don't really know how they'll match up against teams like Duke and even North Carolina. So it'll be interesting to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, they lost a lot. I mean, you bring back a couple good players, but man, losing those guys is brutal for them. I mean, that they were core to that run they had.
Yeah, and we lost a couple guys to the NBA. They came back last year, still got into the tournament, but just couldn't get it done. I'll always root for Larinaga so long as he's not playing Duke. I think he's a good coach. I think he's underrated. He doesn't get a lot of spotlight, as much as these other big coaches do, but he's quietly just a very good coach that gets this team to fucking produce a lot and often. So I'll root for him. Seems like a nice guy, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe they just go with a different identity this season and it's just way different, but it works.
Yeah. I mean, maybe this is Larinaga's last year. I mean, just has a terrible year. Maybe he just calls it a career. I mean, he's been around forever. He's been great, but I mean, at that age, do you really want to sit around and do another rebuild and try to figure it out again? I mean, probably not. I mean,
depends on how much money Miami will give him.
I mean, they got money. I'm sure he'll be fine. But get out of here, son of a bitch.
Some people never want to retire. You never want to retire.
Love the game. Love the game. One of my guys I think are pretender, Tennessee. I mean, they lost a lot. Jonas Aidoo's gone. Dalton Connect, probably the biggest loss in the country, in my opinion. I mean, Josiah Jordan-James is gone, and then Vescovi's gone. I know he was hurt, but that guy he had games where he showed up and just was on fire from three and was making shots. You're losing him and Connect, I mean, and then Aidoo down low. I mean, they're already – what is Tennessee at its core is just defense. So, I mean, they'll be fine there. I don't have a concern about that, but their offense – they never have offense. They did last year until, towards the end, they kind of sputtered out, but they had offense. They had a guy, no, Rob disagrees, man. This should be an interesting season, but man, I mean, just losing Connect and Vescovi's on your offense is brutal. It's going to be Zakai Zeigler now. I don't know. I'm sure they'll be fine. I don't think they're going to be a basement dweller in the SEC or anything, but I mean, that's a lot to lose. Chaz Lanier is such a baller. He maybe is. I got to go look into him, but I mean, you just look on the surface here. Dalton Connect, that dude was what did he average here? 22 points a game, 5 boards, and then Vescovi, he wasn't a high scoring guy, but the guy showed up at some games and he could give you 15 points. I mean, Jonas Aidoo down low, gone. That was 12 points, 8 boards. I mean, Jordan James is gone. That was 8.5 points, 6 boards, 2 assists. And the defense from these guys, minus Dalton Connect. And I guess you could argue Vescovi, but this feels like a lot to lose. I mean, maybe they'll figure it out. They'll get it going later, but Tennessee, their offense has always been a struggle, and now you just lost your best 2. I mean, their non-con's not crazy. Their toughest is going to be Illinois up until conference play. I mean, maybe you want to argue Virginia just because they're crazy defense, but I don't think they'll have an issue with that game. But just a lot to lose for Rick Barnes here. So I'm a little down on Tennessee this year. I think they'll probably be more middle of the pack of the SEC, maybe 8th, 7th, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I mean,
I know he wasn't a Vol, but they didn't have much offense prior. I mean, obviously they would have games where they could score, but
that was the first year.
They played bully ball.
Yeah, Tennessee unders were solid, and I remember giving it out early in the year, like, yeah, let's just take a Tennessee under, and with Dalton Connect, that was the first time that they were soaring past those first half totals and full game totals. So I'm with you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They make you grind out those games like hard. That's why that last year before Connect, I'm pretty sure was the year that they played Duke in the second round, and everyone was like, Duke's gonna get fucking bullied, and they did. Like Tennessee just played bully ball hard against them, and they just beat the shit out of you that year, and just made every game a grind.
Yeah, I'll point out Gonzaga this year. It was a gelling year last year with Graham Ike, and then you got Nemhard as well too, and they added Khalif Battle on that team. I'm excited to watch Gonzaga. I think we got the Gonzaga back that we know and love, and this is their final terror tour across the West Coast Conference. If I stand corrected, I need my PTI Tony Reale correction, but yeah, this team's gonna roll. Different team. They play Kentucky again. Not high as I am on Kentucky. I think Mark Hope is a great coach. Good addition for that blue blood team. But then they got another blue blood in the millennial with UConn to add up as well. So I think Gonzaga's one that to look out for them, and we get to watch Khalif Battle on that team. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 seniors chasing a ring on Gonzaga. Love to see it.
Just classic Gonzaga again. I mean, they'll be good, and then we'll never.
Yeah, but they weren't that good last year. It wasn't the same Gonzaga team. So they need to step it up, and Mark Few needs to put the keys down after a long Thursday night.
I mean, I could be wrong. Just off the top of my head, wasn't their last big run during the COVID year when there was like no fans really? I mean, there was that, and then bang, Max Muncy, Rob. Fuck yes. All right, catch the freaking parlay. All right. Anyway, back to basketball. Sorry.
I thought this was a basketball show. Yeah.
It's baseball.
Baseball. Ugh.
Basketball, boys. No, I mean, they always are solid, but once it comes to March, they just never. I mean, they never finished, minus that COVID year. And let's not forget they fucking hit a 3/4 court shot to get to the national title game anyway.
Oh my god, what a fucking banger that was.
Hey, I'm giving these out. Awesome. I'm not saying Gonzaga might. I mean, I guess contender they win it all, but there's some value in them becoming a regional final or betting on them getting to a Final Four. They'll be good this year, man. They got they don't hate on Khalif Battle, man. Khalif Battle is one of my favorite players to watch. I'm so excited.
Khalif's the one from West Virginia now, right?
Temple. He came from Temple, and then he transferred.
Who the fuck is West
Didn't he
Virginia?
come from the Big? Didn't he come from the Big Ten from last year though?
No, Arkansas last year. He played 1 year.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking of. Okay,
and then he split
I'm
from
getting my
Musselman.
battles mixed
I don't
up.
know why I thought he was Big Ten.
It's his 6th year in college, so hey, if I could go to college for 6 years and make the amount of money they do now, I would be wow.
Yeah,
Wouldn't be here today. Wouldn't be here today talking college basketball. That's for sure. But yeah, you guys got anything else or anything? I figured we could get into like betting strategies too.
Rutgers.
Yeah, we can do that.
Rutgers, yes. People are high on Rutgers because they added and they added Ron Harper's son, Dylan Harper. So
yep.
Yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on Rutgers? They're going to be that defense.
Rutgers has an exhibition game coming up, don't they? I think tomorrow, so we can see Ron Harper Jr. Or is this Junior?
Dylan Harper. Ron Harper Jr. already played.
Ron graduated.
Ace Bailey though they got, and then they got their studs. They're academic scholars off the bench. Playing tough defense, but they have an easy opening schedule. They play Notre Dame November 26th, Tuesday, and then they got Alabama, and then they got Houston and Ohio State. So they're like, let's just load up easy, get a 6-0 going before we have to play Alabama, Houston, and open up Big Ten play as well.
Okay, Rutgers plays St. John's tomorrow at
Ooh,
6:30 p.m. I'm assuming that's
holy
it's from
shit.
Rutgers website, so I'm guessing 5:30 Eastern, and it probably will be on ESPN, is my guess.
ESPN
That would be my guess. I mean, the
Plus.
New North Carolina Memphis game was on ESPN the other day,
Oh, I didn't know that.
yesterday,
I just saw a little bit of highlights.
and it's
St.
at the
John,
Rack.
that'll be a good game.
So get ready for some crazy shit. Well, the students aren't there, so. Well, yeah, they are.
Yeah,
What
they
the fuck am
are.
I talking about?
Yeah.
I'm fucking retarded.
It's
Right
too
when I said
early
that, I
for
was
them
like,
to not
wait a
be
minute,
there.
this isn't July.
There's
Yeah,
Uh,
no, they'll be there. So yeah, the Rack's gonna get rocking. I mean, I
Should we
can't
fly
wait.
there?
Should we fly there?
I could
Fuck it.
drive.
Yeah, you can drive. Yeah, you can
I
go to
think
the
Yeah, you
Rack.
could be there.
Yeah, for an exhibition
All right,
game.
Nick, we'll
Yeah,
get boots on the
sounds
ground
fucking
at
sick.
Rutgers St.
Yeah,
John's exhibition.
I'll live stream it to you guys from the stands. Yeah, good.
Yeah. So I guess we'll start with Rob's betting strategies. Fading UConn and Purdue against the spread. I'm not
I
against
think it'll be good.
fading. I'm not against fading them early on in the season. I mean, they both lost some nice pieces. It's going to take some time, but I don't think UConn you're going to be able to fade as long as Purdue, in my opinion. I mean, Purdue, even with Edie, and then when they were clicking, they still had some shit box games in the Big Ten. So now you're going to have no Edie, no Gillis. It could be rough. I mean, if Fletcher really figured it out and he can hit shots, and Cam Heide steps in right away, and Kaufman Wren, but I think it'll probably be a little more rough on Purdue to get the season going over UConn, in my opinion.
Have fun betting Sacred Heart.
I ain't doing it. I'm saying if you had the stones to. I mean, what are those
Yeah,
spreads?
we
gonna
are,
be?
dude.
All right,
Sometimes
let's look at Sacred Heart. 30. Looks like
Give it to
Ken
me.
Palm's got it a 32-point win, so I'm guessing that spread will be what, 35, 36.
Sure. Sounds
They'll
like
inflate it.
we're
I bet it'll be. I bet it'll
Go
open
for
it.
it.
It'll open around 28, 29, and it'll move to like.
If it opens under 30, I may dabble, but
I think that's a betting strategy. I'll point out. I mean, we hear it all the time. Key numbers, and it's easy to know the key numbers maybe in football, right? 7, 10, 13 versus like betting a 12 and a half in football, right? You don't have as many key numbers in basketball, but that's definitely something to point out. 29 and a half versus a 30. Is there much of a discrepancy? But there is from a 29 and a half versus a 34 and a half when the public moves. So unlike other sports, we see this line just get hammered overnight. Sometimes we're not even allowed to bet it on our little mobile sports apps, while other people are just betting the life away, moving the lines by 3 or 4 points in merely hours. So those key numbers are important, especially this early on versus a conference game that's going to stay around 8 to 12 points, or even lower than that. So yeah, I think that's something to point out. Keep an eye on the numbers early on, and if you see something you like, take that gut, because other people probably like it too. If you're just eye testing it, and that line will move, so you'll get that key number of maybe 29 and a half versus a 36. And don't be afraid to take the number on both sides, plus or minus.
Yeah, and like Rob's saying, these are going to open like in the 40s. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they'll close near the 40s, but I mean, they generally go somewhat close to KenPom, and these are all about 32 to 35 point victories they're projecting. So I'm guessing they'll probably open it low 30s to like 35 right away, and then you're just going to see it get mashed. Like
these lines, these early lines for college basketball, you guys know, like sometimes they are just so fucking off until they adjust, especially like. I don't know how much I buy into like, oh, NFL is going on. They're not paying that much attention to college basketball. I don't think it's so much that. It's just like you don't know how these teams play. Like you got fucking 18-year-old kids coming in that have never played before, and they might be the next, fucking LeBron, or they might be the next car salesman. So the numbers will move drastically from the beginning of the season to like 4 or 5 weeks in. So yeah, just keep an eye on them.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I don't really think they're going to pay a crazy amount of attention like early in the season, but once you start getting to this like UConn Baylor, like what is this, 6, 7, 8 games in the season, you'll start to see them figured out a little bit. And then once it's full blown like conference play and like um, even before that, what's the feast week and shit, like you'll start seeing some sharper lines. But early in the season, I mean, you could find something, but it's just a matter of who you feel comfortable betting. And I, me and Rob kind of disagree. I like UConn this year, but I don't like them enough to be laying those uh, crazy numbers to start the season, especially when they lost Castle Newton, or Newton was the other year, but lost Castle Klingen. I mean, it's just they'll have to figure it out, but I don't think they're going to be a bad team. It's just I'm not going to lay these numbers with them. And Purdue, I'm with it. It'll probably be the better team to fade more, in my opinion. Just how I think it is, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, no.
Also, do you guys have any lines open yet?
Uh,
I doubt it, but I can look.
I do too. I don't see
another good strategy to point out this early in the season, and we're here to point those out for you in the coming episodes as well too. For example, last year teams like Oakland, IPFW, who was undefeated and then just collapsed, come.
Oh my God. Their
How-
collapse should be studied, bro. They were so
Yeah.
fucking good, and then
They
they
have
were
a-
so bad.
They have a lot of returning minutes. They're a team that I wouldn't rule out. I'm excited for some Horizon League basketball. It's we got to take the overs there. But yeah, I think looking for those teams because there's just so much trade markets open in college basketball. You just forget about those Oaklands and IPFWs, and so do the traders. They forget about them, especially in the first 6 to 10 games that you can get some solid lines on, and some disrespectful lines, especially to these early teams that might be playing an upper P5 school, just like we saw with Oakland and IPFW last year. And sometimes they shit the bed, but if you bet them every time and you keep the strength and you just keep betting them, overall they'll be above 500 ATS. And we'll point those out for you. That's why we're here.
Yeah, another like strat that I kind of stole from our buddy T Mac is he had the model. Him and our other buddy Levi had a model. It was like bottom 50 pace teams versus top 50 pace teams. Like you just blind bet the over, whatever it is. So like when it seems to be like when those super fast paced teams play the super slow paced teams, it kicks the slow pace team into high gear and they try and match the pace of the top 50 pace team. So that was something that we were looking at, and we go off the Ken Palm pacing stat. So we would just look at those. If there was a top 50 versus bottom 50, just blind bet the over. I don't have a percentage of how much it hit last year, but I know it was profitable because it was me and him would just text each other and just fucking scream about it whenever it would hit. Some of them were pretty close and some of them were like over with 7-8 minutes left in the game. And it was just like, just one of those systems that, I stole from him that we just talk about. So that one was good for us.
Yeah. I mean, excuse me, that system too. I mean, those slower pace teams, like you said, they try to kick it into high gear and keep up. They also just make mistakes and just give away free points just off of turnovers. And then that team's already running the floor anyway. So yeah, that's a good one. I was with you on a few of those last year too. But yeah, it's generally kind of what I do is just like the mid majors and then the tempo things. I mean, you can always look at the tempo and like a defensive efficiency or just who's back on the team. Like if they got like a bunch of like new guys, nobody returning, I mean, they're not gonna, more than likely, they're not gonna have a lot of cohesion offensively to really kind of keep up offensively and run solid sets and play together. So I mean, it's always just something I look at. I mean, if they got nobody returning and it's just a fresh batch of guys, they, who knows how well they're going to keep up offensively. And if they play really well, so good. But more often than not, they just shit the bed and then they all get pissed off at each other because nothing's working. They're getting their asses kicked. They can't run a smooth offense without turning it over or, just bricking shots or anything. So that's kind of what I like to do too. Fade the fresh guys, the fresh squads.
Yeah, a little gelling session is like what I like to call it. So you gotta die a little to live a lot, and that is the truth early on in the year. I'll point this out early on betting strategies, and I kind of want to hear your guys' opinion on it too. Do you guys look at the public betting splits more in college basketball than any other sport? I mean, is there something to fading the public in college basketball versus another sport, or is that all just mumbo jumbo nonsense that makes people feel good when they place a bet?
Me personally, I think it's all bullshit. I think there's a lot of
It
people
varies
that
from book to book too. Like,
Yeah, it does.
I think
yeah,
this
it's
is
all
like
different.
like Trevor said, yeah, it differs from book to book, all the stats, all the numbers. Like I know VSiN is the one that we all pretty much use, and they were only DK data. A lot of people use Pickett too to see where people are, but that's only people that have their accounts linked to Pickett and are tracking the bets. It's not every person in the world placing a bet. But I think this is like something that like the gambling world is like split 50-50. Like people will die saying, public, sharp money, this, that, the other. And then other people just don't care. Like I'm one of the people that doesn't ever really care. Like I'm a stats guy and a numbers guy. So if what I look at and what I use to like figure out a bet, as well as like the eye test, like if that's who I like and that's the side that I like, I don't care if there's 85% of people on it or 20% of people on it. Um, like I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I don't look at it that way. I guess I'll say when it comes to like fading the public, he is based for that take. He hit it on the only systems I would ever even like look at and get sharp reports on is maybe like a freaking Iona versus UT Rio Grande game because maybe that money does matter, but then again, that's probably just me digging through a well of a bunch of useless information that I end up only taking 5 to 10 bets on a Saturday, and I'm not even betting that game. So I'm kind of with you on that, Nick, and I think it could all just be hocus pocus made up in the air from DK and any other like DK and FanDuel added like bets placed percentage and whatnot. It again just seems like a marketing ploy of useless information. I'm with you there on that.
Yeah, I don't think like DK or FanDuel or any of the books are like making the shit up and they're just like skewing it. Like I don't think they are. And then you have people like John Ewing from MGM that tweet like fucking 99% of people are on that. That I don't fucking believe. Like some of that shit just has to be made up. Although I don't know what he gets out of it, but yeah, I don't think any of the numbers are made up. I just think it does matter. Like and it's like if you're always gonna fade the public, like if it's like UConn or Gonzaga laying 35 against like a shit squad school, like, and they cover, is it like, is it really shocking that 90% of the public who don't pay attention to these games just see Gonzaga versus a school they never heard of and lay the points? Like sometimes the public is right. Like the numbers don't matter.
Completely
Fuck
agree.
you. Fuck you.
Yeah, I mean, going back to what you said about John Ewing, I believe he tweeted out 99% of the bets and money and everything was on the Brees Hall props the other night.
There's like no
Dude had
way.
150 fucking yards. It was free as shit. Like,
Don't remind me. I'm just kidding.
anyway, my bad. But regardless, I mean, like, you just gotta. It's all about like looking into it, doing research, and just going with your gut. I'll admit, last year I looked into those splits a little too much, like Action Network, which is just people who placed bets. It's not actual money or anything. It's just people who place bets. And then same with Pickett. I mean, that's just people with their books synced and shit. It kicked me in my ass last year because I cared a little bit too much. But towards the end of the year, I noticed it worked a little better solely because there were a limited amount of games. It was primetime games, and that's when I kind of figured that maybe it matters a little more if you're getting 70% on one side and it doesn't move. Maybe there's a little something to it, but at the end of the day, none of it matters. And I strayed away from that from the year prior when I crushed the season and I got my dick kicked in last year. So absolutely don't care about that shit. It doesn't matter. And then it's also the amount of money and bets that are coming in on it. You never know how much is actually on it because it's just going off percentage of what bets were taken. So I mean, it all varies. doesn't really matter. In my opinion, don't worry about it. Just trust yourself. Trust your research your cap. Trust that. Don't give a shit about what DK has for splits or anything like that.
Well, or like a game like a game like
Nick is
Morehead
definitely
State.
hiding pizza bombas, by the way. Sorry. Nick is he's
He's
got he's a doomsday prepper with the pizza
This is my
bombas.
buddy's trolling.
Hiding pizza bombas. Oh my god. Yeah,
Shout out
that
Pizza Bombas.
pizza bombas. Shout out. Yeah, that's really all I had early on in the season. I mean, we got so much to talk about. I got even more to research that I kind of just did research. I mean, over the off season, keeping notes here and there, but really diving in the last couple weeks as we get closer, and can't believe it's winter's already here. I mean, but that's all I really have on betting strategies. I'm definitely going to research some teams, but I guess I'll end it with this. I like to say that it's a system, and my final thoughts are in college basketball, view the system more so than the actual game itself. I know anomalies happen, things happen, crazy shit happens in college basketball, but a team that is 9-5, 9-6, why are they favored against an 11-2 team? You got to buy that crap, and you just got to take the play that makes sense, and that's what we're here for. And the play that makes sense is that system of asking yourself, looking in the mirror, be like, oh, why is that? Brian Windhorst meme. Why is that? Because it's about the system versus more so the teams. Because our top number one seeds have 6-7 losses on the year. And these lines kind of can tell you where these games are going to go. So don't be afraid to dive into the funk of a gross team laying points.
Yep,
Yeah,
and don't forget the system of unranked home favorites. I think it is.
Yes.
What is it?
Yes.
I forget what I don't even remember what it
remember.
is because I hate it. I think it's
unranked
teams that are
favorites.
favored over
Unranked home favorites against a top 25 team. Yep.
Or is it unranked
spell.
away favorite? Like it's a
no. It's unranked
No,
home
it's
teams.
unranked home team
Unranked
favorite.
favorited home teams.
Are you guys sure?
Versus road ranked teams. Yeah.
I know it's
I
Texas
was
A&M
trying to
versus
remember
Ohio
what the
State
hell,
was
because
one.
we rode that a lot last year and it was profitable.
I hate that fucking system.
Texas Tech did you.
Once it got incredibly popular, it shit the bed at the end of the year. But.
It worked a little bit, but then it went bad. But it's worked a lot in its past. I mean, but that's the stuff I'm talking about, though. Don't be afraid to, unless you want to just ride one team and hope that they go 25-5 ATS, or I mean, not ATS. That's pretty easy. But yeah, Rob's right. It's profitable every year in the long run. But it definitely
shit the bed last year.
A couple of years.
No, it was profitable, but the end of the year, like it got so incredibly popular. Like you would see everybody on Twitter, oh, we got an unranked home favorite versus road favorite, smash. And they catch on to that shit eventually. And then you know what? The books can fucking, flip it to -1, -2 for the home team, and then they're just gonna get all the action on that because it fits the system. There's gotta be a little bit of logic behind it, but
there's a system behind fading second half bets. That one dude that just goes like, yo, 10-unit bomb with like an emoji, like under 38.5. Fucking these teams are gonna come out so flat, and then I swear to God, it's like 10 minutes in the first half, and it's like 25-23. Fade that person on Twitter. I'll be putting him out. That is a system. Fade him.
Second half plays. Yeah. That is him.
He's like, yeah, this is a 10-unit mega max. Like life depends on it. Play like every time. And sometimes
if anyone says mega whale, mega max, nuke cock play.
Unless you're Trent, you can say that. Unless you're Trent.
Yeah, because it's gonna lose. Is just what he does. But
you should trademark it. Yeah, careful. Be weary of those people on Twitter. I'm not afraid to say it. Come for me. Come at me. So.
You're gonna get assassinated.
That's fine. I go out doing what I want. Fight. Oh my God. Good.
Yeah, that's all the systems I got.
Yeah, this early in the year. We'll talk about some more.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. One last thing. Any futures you guys got? Any conference winners, national title, Wooden Awards? I'm looking on DK here. They got their own separate market for Will Cooper Flag win the Wooden Award. No 1,400. Yes, 700.
He's a
Nope.
favorite, I assume.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's in front of
I mean-
Mark Sears. How is AJ Storr sitting at fifth at 20-1 over LJ Cryer and Johnny Broom? What in the hell is going on? As a Wisconsin
man.
fan,
Believe it.
nah.
Believe in your guy.
I like it.
He was my guy.
No, I'm not a futures guy because I always fucking lose them. And then I hate having, I'm just like weird. I just don't like having units wrapped up in futures that I know we're just going to lose. And then you like know they're lost. When you know they're lost and it's only like halfway through and your money's just sitting there betting in your bets.
Yeah.
Just reminded every day of a shit bet.
Yeah,
No, I like
if I ever
futures like
bet
when we
futures,
get, I like
With-
like when we get to March and we know like the bracket and we can bet like if they can get to the Elite Eight, Final Four type thing when we see the bracket itself. Those I like, but preseason I'm not really a big.
Or
futures guy.
preseason tournament futures, like if they like we literally gotta catch it like within hours, but like Maui Invitational futures and shit like that.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
I'm with you. I'm
Yeah.
with you.
got
I
some of
did
those.
take IU. I like I said earlier in the show, Final Four and NCAA championship, but that is complete fandom. Bet responsibly. Do not listen to me on that. That is complete fandom, double downing. But I'm gonna take a few futures and kind of sprinkle it like a roulette board a little bit. That I'm happy to talk about. Once I do that, I do have some teams in mind that we could talk about on the next show too. Because, but yeah, it definitely, Nick. I don't like doing a ton. I just do like a handful and hope I get lucky. I did on UConn a couple years back. So
I do
Rob
play
wants-
some. What's that?
Good,
Rob?
good. No, it's
what-
good.
Yeah, bet irresponsibly and
trolling.
listen to Huck.
He also wants Brock Harding Wooden Award. He had 3 points per game last season.
you're gonna pick
sure,
John
that's
L.
what we
Davis. You're gonna pick John L. Davis, probably, Stewie.
Okay, I'm obligated to throw a little bit of coffee money on John L. Davis. Just, how many more years are we going to get him in college? I think this is last year, actually. So, actually, where is John L?
Who knows, bro? Fucking Cam Rising can come back for an 8th year if he wanted to.
Bro,
I think he said he wasn't.
He did say he wasn't.
John L.
Dude.
Davis, 30-1.
It's not bad.
it's not bad.
He's on a team that's going to get more
He'll
exposure
be
too.
30.
With Calipari.
He'll be 30-1 for like 2 more months, or like even more too. So I kind of like see
who do they
for those
play
like
early?
those player prop futures or like Big Ten Player of the Years. Or I like kind of like seeing how they the first few.
I don't know, dude. They got Lipscomb, Troy, and Pacific, Little Rock, Eastern Shore to start the season. This number could get nuked. I mean, if he puts up big numbies against Pacific, watch it.
Oh, I mean, brother, who the fuck isn't putting up big numbers against Pacific?
We got a special guest.
Was it Pacific last year
What's up, buddy?
or 2 seasons ago? Wasn't someone
The Pacific
losing
Tigers?
like 50-0 or some shit?
Oh
It was
my
like-
God.
No,
Yeah.
that was last year. That was
Was it them though?
Oh God,
It was
they got
someone in the
waxed.
West. It was someone in the
God.
Western Conference, I'm pretty sure. And
No, I think
Pacific-
it was Pacific
I
or
think so too.
Pepperdine or one. No, it wasn't
Oh, it might have
Yeah,
been Pepperdine.
the WCC.
Yeah,
It might
was-
have been
It
Pepperdine.
might have been Pepperdine.
They have me blocked on Twitter, by the way.
Pepperdine, the Waves.
Pepperdine's men's basketball has me blocked.
Nope, it was Pepperdine. Pepperdine
That
beat
makes more
Pacific
sense.
102-43. It was
Oh my
56-9 at halftime. I remember
Yeah.
that game.
Oh, so it was.
word.
Yeah.
It was a conference tournament. Yeah, I remember watching that game at work, and I just kept betting on Pacific's team total under in the first half. I was like,
It's-
they can't
that
hit
was
shit. They're
bad.
so
56-9.
demoralized. Down 30.
It was bad, dude.
It was like 40. It was like 50-0 though. 56-9 isn't. Is that a scoregami? You want to take bets on if it's a scoregami?
Man, if there's a scoregami college basketball account, I need to follow.
There'd be way too many. It happened like fucking every day.
56-9 is an open scoregami in the NFL. So wonderful.
We had one last week with the Cowboys.
It almost
game.
happened to the Cowboys.
47-9.
Yeah.
No, it was a scoregami.
Yeah, but I mean the 56-9 one almost was
Oh, yeah.
almost
Was it
a-
Oh, yeah.
It was 46-9, right?
yeah.
47.
It could have been 56 if a big guy got a touchdown. They were just feeding them.
They were, dude. The Lions were just trolling them at that point.
Yeah, they were like,
just
whatever.
putting in linemen for routes and running, trying to catch
Fuck the
tutties.
Cowboys. I would do it too.
Heck yeah.
Anyway,
yeah.
so you guys don't have any futures? You didn't sprinkle a little Duke just because you didn't
Duke to what?
go put
Duke to win the
Miami on
ACC.
70-1?
Duke to win the ACC is like
Duke to win the Natty
140.
only like
Plus
8-1? Isn't Duke to win the Natty like 8 to 12 to 1 or something like
I
that?
see 10 to 1 on DK right now.
I was gonna say I think it's like more like 10-12, but yeah, it's not even fucking worth it. I never bet on Duke either. Like I will bet on Duke football sometimes because I don't really care too much about them. Like I hope they win, but I don't follow as much. Yeah.
Friday, Duke is getting it done.
Oh,
you saw that FSU post, so that guy's going to eat shit this time for real.
We can bet on them.
They're going to lose.
But yeah, Duke basketball, I'm already want to kill myself when they lose, so I don't want to lose money when they also lose. So
it's the worst. It's the worst. It's the worst. And then when you think you're an asshole, like, oh, I bet against them, but I feel good now because it's Victory Tuesday or whatever.
Well, we lost to fucking DJ Burns 3 times last year.
Yeah,
and one was in the fucking Sweet 16. Like,
isn't he playing in like
that was beautiful.
He's overseas now.
Thinking like Europe or some shit.
Yeah, like Turkey.
He's probably somewhere.
I had to plug it.
Losing to DJ Burns 3 times in 1 year, like. I might not be on the podcast next year if it happens again.
I had a 12-leg parlay and Duke money line against Pittsburgh last year. I wouldn't punch John Shire.
Whoa, relax. John's not out there playing.
Yeah, but he's out
bullshit.
The team.
Listen, I'm not gonna keep sucking Duke, but like John Shire fucking is a all-star at recruiting kids to play for him. That's like you can't take that away from them. These fucking teams are crazy.
Yeah, but it's Duke. It's Duke.
Yeah, but still, bro.
Yeah, this is all John Shire getting these recruits.
We were fighting UConn for Cooper Flag. They just won the national title back to back.
It's the Duke brand. I mean, they've always got good recruits and whatnot.
Well, of course.
But
like these classes are crazy. Like next year's is even good.
I know.
Like he's got a lot of guys.
Cooper Flag would not fit in at UConn.
No,
fuck
no.
Look at him.
Oh no, actually,
and
he
it's
would.
Like, that's a Dookie.
Him and Hurley would get along. Like Hurley's probably more his style than Shire is.
Maybe, but if you don't listen to him, if you take a look at him, he's a fucking Dookie.
Yeah.
When is John Shire going to hire
out of a laboratory?
Former point guard, former quarterback, former now head coach in Niagara, Greg Paulus? I mean. Let's get Greg Paulus in that administration. Then I'll have some respect for John Shire.
They keep it all in house. It's all players as the fucking coaches now, like the assistant coaches and shit.
That's what I mean. I mean, Greg Paulus and Shire, they were on the 2010 team that won the Natty.
That's right. Yeah, you're right.
Well, maybe
bring him over then.
Yeah, bring him over. What the fuck? I'll have some respect for Shire when he does that. That's what
Is he head coach at Niagara?
Yes, he's head coach in Niagara.
Well, he probably wants to be a head coach then.
I'm pretty sure. For Niagara, I mean, that's like if you're doing the NCAA dynasty, I mean, path, you're going to get offered head coach Niagara. You're going to get offered the OC position, right? He's still head coach Niagara. God, that team fucked us a lot last year.
Fuck Niagara.
Yeah, fuck that team. Well, I guess we're ending on fuck Niagara. Sounds like.
I'm down.
Hey, Trey Townsend Wooden Award, 150 to 1.
He's not even the best on that team, though.
Yeah, he's not.
That's the problem. Is he's not the best on that team.
No, but that's also why he'll fit very nicely.
What about
correct? He's gonna be good.
Shore's at K-State now.
Yeah, he fucking left my Bulldogs, bro. That bastard.
Yeah, damn.
Jeremy Roach, dude, I think K-State.
Dude, that is gonna be weird. By the way.
Yeah.
What?
What'd you think? Seeing Jeremy Roach in a non-Duke uniform.
Oh yeah,
that's gonna be weird.
We didn't talk about Baylor, but yeah, that'll be an interesting team. Yeah. Forgot about
We'll have to run another episode and just talking about all these teams. There's so much.
Yeah, for sure.
Javon, I'm sorry. Wildcats will be lucky to make the NIT. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, if Eric Dixon does what he does, I know he got suspended for playing in that like Portsmouth Invitational or whatever. I know whatever. I don't know
This
where
year?
people. There's like a lot of people. Yeah, there's a lot of people that are losing 1 game or 2 games of eligibility for playing in that Invitational.
Really?
But Eric Dixon in a secret scrimmage had like 32, 14, and 9. He was fucking balling in that secret scrimmage. So I'll be rooting for Eric Dixon more than I will be for Kyle Neptune.
Wooga Poplar went to Nova from Miami.
Oh,
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah,
Javon's a little sad guy.
People are higher on him. I mean, this year. So
I mean, people
Yeah,
were
I
high on
think
him
that-
last year. It's just I
I
don't know
think-
if I don't really care for Neptune personally.
It's going to be like they're not going to be the Villanova, that's running the Big East.
LaSalle runs the
Yeah,
Big
but-
6 or Big 5, whatever it is. They run
Nova
it.
will be okay.
Oh
Nova's,
yeah,
Nova's
Eric
national
Dixon-
title is not getting swept in the interstate tournament round robin thing they do with LaSalle.
Ken Tom's got Villanova at 20th.
That's
Villanova gets
I
their
don't know
dick
about
sucked
that.
every year, though.
yeah,
That's
I
the
don't know
thing.
about 20th. That's really high.
Bart Tovic's got him at 43. But yeah, Dixon, Brickus, Poplar, Jordan Longino, freaking Archie Diacono level of 5 years, I think. So
Yeah,
I know
20th
who did
is
they
kinda
lose?
crazy.
Who did they lose this year? They lost one of
they
their.
play nobody. Villanova plays Villanova. Nobody.
They lost. They lost
Like no one.
Bamba, Justin Moore,
Bamba.
Tyler Burton.
Oh,
Yeah.
Justin Moore. A lot of respect for him.
And Justin Moore.
They lost.
makes
They lost
sense.
like five, 6 guys.
Who'd they bring in?
Poplar,
Poplar,
Jameer
okay.
Brickus, Tyler Perkins.
Okay, well,
Oh,
I don't know. I
and
think it'd be same old Villanova.
the forward from Fresno State.
Tyler Perkins from Penn too, so a little cross town, cross city transfer there. I love
Yeah, the
that.
6'11" kid they got from Fresno is pretty good too.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of nerd colleges, there, Huff. Danny Wolf to Michigan too. So I'm in fucking hell.
Oh my
Dusty
God.
May, Vlad, and Danny Wolf are in Michigan. What the fuck? This sucks.
Yeah. And then they got Roddy Gale from Ohio State too. It'll be
Yeah.
interesting. Reuben Jones from North Texas as well. They got that. It feels like a little Florida Atlantic squad on that team.
Mini,
2 years ago, a little bit.
Hey, I was just looking at these Big Ten. Oh, well, they don't have them up here. My odds are always worse for futures because I'm offshore, so I always got to find someone to put my bets in.
Fucking loser.
Purdue was favored to win the Big Ten, and then UCLA.
No.
next. Indiana's 7-1, so I'm guessing that's around 8-1.
Already on it.
1-ish off on like a normal book. I
kinda
mean,
makes
Indiana
sense.
feels like a solid look. I mean,
Indiana's a solid look. I think Iowa is a solid look.
Iowa doesn't play defense.
I don't give
That's
a
the
fuck.
problem.
Good.
Is they
But it's not.
yeah overs, but
Here's the
good.
thing though.
They played
You-
fast as fuck too.
Futures though, you gotta. I'm not trying to take a 3-1 future, man.
no. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying if I use 8 or 9-1, I don't hate that. Ohio State potentially could be
No,
nice.
No,
You don't think so?
you're shitting on Iowa over Ohio State. I mean,
I wasn't shitting on Iowa. I just simply said they don't play defense.
Ohio
Yeah,
State's bad.
Ohio State doesn't play offense.
Correct.
I don't know, dude.
Correct.
Ohio State really started to look real good at the
Nick
not real
Diebler
good. They started to
did
look
get
better
them
at the end of the year.
Yeah, Diebler got those guys freaking bugged.
Yes.
Yeah,
They
but
lost
I
a lot of people.
Did they? I'm trying
Roddy
to.
Gale
yeah.
went to Michigan.
Roddy Gale, Jamison
but
Battle,
Roddy Gale
Felix
was-
Okpara is
Jamison
gone,
Battle.
Zed Key
Who
is gone.
transferred from
God.
Ohio State to Michigan? Who
They
does
lost,
that?
they lost a lot
Oh
of
my.
people.
Yeah,
Oh
they're-
my.
I mean,
Okay, then I take that back. Then yeah, this maybe
But
playing putting a little
they-
IU in at 8
to
to
be
9
fair,
is not a terrible look.
They did bring in
Iowa
Michi
25-1.
Johnson from South Carolina, Micah Parrish
Originally
from
from OSU.
San Diego State. They took Sean Stewart from Duke, and they took Aaron Bradshaw from Kentucky.
what?
So
who's
they
the
brought in-
lowest, ranked.
Okay.
Who's the lowest? What's the lowest or highest odds for a Big Ten? Like what? Who's at the
Purdue
bottom?
plus 450. I'm seeing.
No, the worst. I think he's
Worst
asking.
odds.
Oh, Minnesota, 150 to
I
1.
was just gonna say Minnesota. Yeah.
150
Penn
to
State,
1.
Minnesota. Yeah.
Yeah,
They can't be any worse than last year, though. That's the thing.
Ohio State or Minnesota?
No, Minnesota. They started to click at the end of the year. Let's not forget they were covering machines for like 2-3 week stretch there.
Drew Thelwell, Iowa. I'm sprinkling Iowa and moving along. What's Michigan State? 10 to 1?
Michigan State, I see sitting at plus 650. So I'm guessing that's probably.
God. That's
I always add about 100 to 150 on the odds for a legal book.
Michigan State just.
They lost a fuck ton too. They lost They lost Walker, Hall, Hogard, and Sissoko.
But Hogard, yeah.
They kept Akins.
They got Colin Carr still.
Wait, where did Hogard? Hogard went somewhere though.
Vandy.
Jesus Christ!
Going to play in the amphitheater.
Vandy. I'm pretty sure Vandy literally.
Why? Well, why would he do that?
The team.
Why would he go?
I sent that to you guys when I saw it. Like it was like April or June or some shit. And I was like, "Fucking."
I'd rather come off the bench at Michigan State, than go to Vandy.
What?
And he wasn't even coming off the bench. I'm just saying, I would still rather be 6 man than go to fucking Vandy.
Yeah. What do you guys think? I don't know. I mean, out of my fandom, I'm gonna have to put a little bit on Wisconsin to win the Big Ten because they always just randomly show. Remember when they beat Purdue for the Big Ten?
You might as well put money on AJ Storr if they win the Big Ten.
Fuck that.
Do they have they do have Big Ten ACC Players of the Year, right?
Yeah.
I don't. I just see.
I just mean is it possible to bet that at some point? Oh.
It will
be.
So
let me show you some of this offshore bullshit. John Wooden Award, Cooper Flag plus 190. You can go on DK and get it at 7 to 1.
Plus 190. That's fucking insane. Holy shit. Imagine he gets never mind.
But if you want AJ Storr, he's 40 to 1 here versus
that's legal robbery, man.
Plus 190 is fucked up. That's crazy.
This is why you shot people. I'm not saying for awards.
This is why you don't live in Wisconsin, people.
Hey,
we got
to go to the casino.
We got spotted cow beer,
dude. Just move a state over to Michigan, motherfucker.
Fuck Michigan. Fuck that. Fuck.
Yeah, but you can go to the casino and gamble.
Fuck Michigan. Just drive up there, buy their kush, throw a little money down.
I moved to Indiana before I'd move anywhere, any other state connecting with Wisconsin.
They got casinos and legal gambling.
Dude, I love
and marijuana.
You guys don't even know what you're missing in Wisconsin here. All right.
So we talked about it before the show, man. We know what you guys
offshore.
We know what you guys do.
Yeah, we have a few soda pops.
Dude, we get it, man.
You close out the bar and then drive home. We get it.
No, the bartender lives a block away, so I get a ride. I just got to help her flip chairs up at the end of the night.
Trevor's flipping chairs at the end of the night. Oh my god,
dude! I was there for 12 hours, and my tab was $50.
Holy shit,
dude! It's fucking.
That's
great.
sick.
So what bar is this? I'm writing down the coordinates.
Yeah, we're gonna have to come visit. What the fuck?
Yeah, bring it. Well, David, Rob's friend David here from the chat. He was here. He had a good old time. We got fucking shit wasted at Oktoberfest.
I could imagine.
It was a great time.
Yeah, that rocks.
Hit a parlay. Then it was on after that.
That rocks. We are gonna have to do some. We have to meet up at some point this year.
Yeah,
whether it's in Vegas
for
March
the Final
or something.
Four and I sit at a tab in bars one.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. Ouch. If I go out in Philly, I'll get 4 drinks and my tab will be $100.
That's why I go to the Veteran Foreign Wars bar. Shout out to VFW. Your tab can be thank you, veterans. Your tab can be. I mean, shots are $3. Mixed drinks $5. Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Do you guys shake for shots like dice?
Huh?
It's so
this is an alcoholic thing.
Okay, so there's a cup. Now we're getting off track, but fuck it. There's a cup. It's got 5 dice. You can do shake of the day, Bar dice, which is like wilds, or fives. Anything that counts up to 5. And I play fives with them. The lowest score wins. So half the time the bar loses anyway. So you're getting free shots. And then they love me there. So they'll fucking
You hear
just
that?
sometimes flip a die over and I had a 12 and you had an 8. Guess I lost.
Someone is
fucking
a
great.
bigger drunk than I am. Holy fuck! Because I've never heard of that game.
Oh man, you
It's
guys
just
need
Wisconsin
to trade some
things.
Yeah,
Oh, I can't
I
wait.
saw that on Facebook or Twitter or something the other day. I
Our
was like,
bars
wait a
just
minute, it's
opened-
true people don't shake dice outside of Wisconsin?
If
Apparently,
I
that's crazy.
imagine if I asked a bartender in Philly to shake the fucking dice, bro, I'd probably die.
Trevor, do you
What
know
the
how to
fuck you
play
say, dude?
euchre?
Euchre? I played like twice. No, I
Okay,
no
but
idea.
you
My
know what it
parents
is.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you the rules. My parents play it. My dad's from Indiana, so they know how to play.
Yeah. Midwest thing.
Yeah, you guys got euchre. I get free shots. Anyway.
All right.
Yeah, this has been fun. We'll have to fire up another one.
Closing to the show. Let's talk Mercy Hurst next week. Mercy Hurst
We'll
and UMass Lowell and Ball State.
We'll hop some mid majors. Yeah, we'll dive into some mid majors.
That'd be good
Instead of just the P. Well, I guess P4s now, but yeah, it's been fun. Great talking hoops. 1.5-hour show. Doesn't feel like that long, but here we are. It was a good time. We'll fire up another one here coming up. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll let you guys know. But thanks for stopping by, Rob, Javon, Luke, Matthew, Media Staircase. Yeah, it was fun, guys. Thanks for stopping by. Live hitting that parlay was electric. Fading UConn, Purdue, Duquesne's coming back. It's so good. We're so back, boys. 19 days, and the season's going. So,
hell yeah,
it's been fun. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Thanks, y'all.